how do you actually, of course, I'm still working full time. So there's that. But how do you structure enough time into your day to do what you want to do on Instagram? Because really you could spend your entire day and more because it is your business. But how do you structure enough time into it?
Well, that's a loaded question, right? Today is part 3 of our series on how to take a break from Instagram, how to come back to Instagram, and then how to fit in time for Instagram. All 3 of these episodes are based around a conversation that I had with one of my mentorship members, Brenda McDermott, which you'll hear in the last 2 episodes that we shared. So today builds on those last 2, and it's finally, how do you fit in time? And Brenda's background was she was working full time. Now, spoiler alert, she did figure this out while she was still working full time. But before we get into what I said to her about fitting in time for Instagram, I want to let you know that everything I told Brenda in answer to her question is actually inside a resource we created at the beginning of the year that's not only available for our mentorship members, but it's available for you too, our listening audience and Instagram followers. And this training addresses exactly this question. You'll find the answer in our 2022 Follower Growth Kit under number 2 of 4 best practices for follower growth. So if you don't have your copy of that masterclass and the recording show notes, along with 50 growth ideas, after the show, be sure to click on our website, AuthenticOnlineMarketing.com, and at the top, you'll see the Follower Growth Kit. We'll link it in the show notes too, but I want you to have 2 options to get your hands on this because trust me, it's going to save you a lot of time on Instagram. So back to that question. How do you fit in time? Here is my advice for you. Listen in.
Welcome to Authentic Online Marketing with Ruthie Gray. Growing awareness for your blog, podcast, book, or product involves more than dancing to reels and yelling, "Buy my thing." This show models quality over clamor so you can put your spin on your message and market in a way that feels authentic to you, because nobody wants to sound like an infomercial. And now, here's your host, Ruthie Gray.
Brenda, did you get a chance to watch the Growth Masterclass?
No.
Okay. It should be in your email, in your past email. Okay. There are 2 versions. One is the full and one's a 30-minute. Okay. And if you could just either watch that or you also have the transcripts. It's under point 2 if you go to the content flow. Point 2 is the content flow. Because that's the bottleneck. People just can't seem to get the content flow and how to do everything. Exactly what you said. So I think point 2, even if you just read that or watched that part, would help you because it's really all about where your content is coming from first and then repurposing that. And then determining a set time that you're going to be on to engage and turning off notifications and then just letting it go. You have to use the time you have.
Right.
So just figuring out where is the top of your content. If you have a blog post every week or every other week or once a month, or if you're not even publishing right now, you go back and use the content you've already written and go deeper for your newsletter on one of those points and then trickle that out for the week or 2 weeks or 4 weeks.
Okay. I'll work on that.
Does that help a little bit?
Well, it does help a little bit. That's a good way to organize what you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah. Let me know for sure if you can't find those emails.
I'm sure I can.
The transcripts are going to help you more probably than anything just to be able to have it because we put headers in there and you can just kind of read over that, scan through it, save it to your device and then go back to it when you need to.
Well, I don't know if it's because you have Haley, it's probably largely because of that, but also you just seem very relaxed in your new groove and it shows. And so, I want to reach that point because I feel really pretty overwhelmed, like you said, just trying to figure out how to do it all. And then, you kind of feel like, well, I'm ready to start on another book or whatever, but you just think, how am I going to add anything? And yet I see you being very relaxed. And so I know there's a way.
There is a way, but it involves predetermining how long you're going to spend on something, and then that's it. And you release it into the universe and let it go. That is hard to do.
That's hard to do.
But it works. I mean, that's that is really the key right there, is knowing your limitations and saying, this is it. This is all I have to give. This is what it is. I'll make this shorter. Sometimes we make things too long or harder than they need to be. So we cut it and we release expectations. And it does help that I have Haley. I can do near what I do without her. But, even if you could find a teen or somebody, one of your granddaughters or somebody that would be willing to help you out for just, a few dollars a week or something, that would really make a difference for you.
Yeah, that's true.
So why is enhancing your Instagram, growing it, why is that important to you?
Well, I think growing it, enhancing it are the same thing for me. But I think it's very important for me to have some sort of an online presence, especially because I want this to be a business and I want to take my readership for the blog higher, and I want to do more with that. And then I also want to continue writing books. And so I don't know if you can have any kind of marketing without an online presence. And I prefer Instagram over anything else. I really like Instagram. So I need to learn everything that there is to learn about it and make it very useful and productive for what I want to do in a business.
So here's my question for you, listener. What is your why? Brenda shared her why. She knows the importance of having an online presence for her books, and she loves Instagram. She wants to use it as an asset for business building. So, how do you fit in time for Instagram? Let me just give you 4 quick tips. Number 1, know your why. Get it nailed down. After this interview, Brenda got busy and back on the gram, as you heard in the last 2 episodes earlier this month in June. She answered her own question, basically, for how to get back on Instagram. Know your purpose. Number 2, know your time limit. How much time a week do you have to work Instagram? Base the amount of posts and engagement on that number. If you don't have time to post every day and engage, do it 3 days a week. If not that, start with 1 or 2. Use the time you have, but predetermine how long you're going to take and only use that time. Don't let it bleed over. This is how you don't get burnt out too. Number 3, repurpose your content. Use what you already have. Don't reinvent the wheel. Draw from your blog, your newsletter, your podcast, wherever your content is coming from. Break it down and use what you got. And number 4, if at all possible, get help. Use a team or a VA, but get someone to free up all the little tasks of creating images and maybe even pulling copy you've already written. You can even go over it to tweak after they've pulled it, but get someone to help you. And maybe even they can answer your comments on Instagram, depending on how comfortable you are handing some of that over. It is possible to fit in time for Instagram, but you need to know your why so you'll be clear and you won't waffle on whether to do it or not. Set a clock and stick to the time available. Repurpose your content and get help if at all possible. Thanks for listening again this week. We'll be back in July with more for you, but be sure to grab our 2022 Follower Growth Kit so you can get these tips in writing and hear the video for yourself. We'll see you next week, and be sure to share your unique message your way in your own authentic voice.